quick update on the social media trial going on in Los Angeles, California federal court. We had opening statements last week, we had testimony last week, and now this week we're going to have testimony from Mark Zuckerberg, who is the CEO of Facebook, who's going to be testifying in court. So, what's happened so far? Well, in the opening statements last week, we got some insight into what some of the defendants will be arguing. Now, just to remind you, the case was originally brought against four different platforms. We had Meta, YouTube, Snapchat, and TikTok. Before the trial, TikTok and Snapchat settled. They settled out, so they're no longer the case. The case is continuing against Meta and YouTube. So the YouTube attorney in the opening statements made it clear that their defense is, hey, we're not even a social media platform. We are a place where people go to create content, and people create videos, people create shorts, and they just produce content on this platform, and it's not really social media. There's no interaction between people, so we shouldn't even be here. Then we had the CEO, Adam Mosseri of Instagram, testify. And he made some interesting distinctions in his testimony. He was making a distinction between addiction and what he called problematic use. Now, the case is about how their platforms and the algorithms behind these platforms are purposely and intentionally addictive. And we're saying that this is obvious, and the internal documents that have been exchanged support this, that they knew that these platforms and these algorithms were addictive, and they didn't do anything about it. The CEO of Instagram is saying, well, these people who are using the platform aren't really addicted the way it's defined clinically by a psychiatrist or a psychologist. He's saying it's not really addiction, it's more of problematic use, that the kids using the platforms are just using it too much, too often, and that's really the problem, and it can be addressed other ways. It's not really a clinical diagnosis. So he made that distinction. Obviously, the attorney cross-examining him had a lot to say about that, but essentially that's their defense. So this week, we'll be hearing from Mark Zuckerberg, and we'll have Mark Lanier, the attorney, who's going to cross-examine him, and we'll find out much more about what Facebook has to say about this case and what their defense is. What's also interesting is that the world is taking notice of this case and of these issues. And there are countries, Australia, Spain, France, Denmark, they're instituting safeguards for children to guard against these addictive type situations and to protect kids from becoming addicted to these platforms. And they're instituting age recognition, where it's going to be harder to come on if you're a certain age, and they're going to be able to verify how old people are. And there are other countries, including these, who are instituting bans depending on how old you are. So certain countries are saying, okay, kids under 16 are not even allowed to use these platforms. Kids under 15, not even allowed to use the platforms. So this is something that's gaining momentum across the world. Obviously, social media is everywhere. So that's the update. We got an exciting week. We'll definitely be back to give you an update on what he says and what the cross-examination is. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.